It was a swelteringly unbearable Friday afternoon in the elite Victoria Island district of Lagos, Nigeria. Palm trees swayed gently in the humid breeze, the distant hum of luxury cars filled the air, and the scent of blooming hibiscus mixed with the salty town of the nearby Atlantic Ocean. A sleek black SUV rolled into the expansive driveway of a modern glass mansion. Stepping out of the vehicle was Chinedu Okoye, 35 years old, broad-shouldered, impeccably groomed, and a billionaire in the tech industry. Dressed in a crisp white agbada, he strode toward his mansion's entrance with the unshakable confidence of a man who had built an empire. In one hand, he held a slim tablet, his mind racing with thoughts of a new app launch, investor meetings, and a potential expansion into Europe. But just as he reached for the biometric scanner to unlock the door, a piercing scream cut through the humid air. "Stop! Don't open it!" Chinedu spun around, startled. Racing toward him, barefoot, was a small girl, no older than 8. Her faded red dress was torn at the hem, her face smudged with dirt, and in her hand, she clutched a tattered green scarf. Her feet slapped against the hot pavement as she ran, her eyes wide with terror. "Oga, please don't go inside," she gasped, her voice trembling as she fought to catch her breath. Chinedu stared, bewildered. "What? Who are you? This is private property." But the girl didn't stop. "You can't go in. They put something inside your house. Please, believe me." His hand still hovered over the scanner. Every instinct told Chinedu to call his security team. This had to be a trick, maybe even a distraction for a robbery. But something held him back. Perhaps it was the girl's quivering voice, the raw fear in her eyes, or the way her small frame shook as she stood before him. "Who put what?" Chinedu demanded, his voice firm but laced with curiosity. The girl glanced around nervously, as if expecting someone to leap out from the shadows. "2 men. They were wearing dark caps. They came last night. I saw them. I was sleeping near your generator shed. They didn't see me." Chinedu's eyes narrowed. "What did they do?" Her voice cracked as she spoke. "They said, 'These rich people always take everything, but tonight he'll pay.' Then one of them put something by the door. It was blinking. I heard a small sound, like a beep." Chinedu's heart began to pound. He lowered his tablet to the ground and took a cautious step back from the door. "What's your name, small girl?" "Aminat," she whispered, her body trembling, her thin arms wrapped around herself. Her voice dropped even lower. "They left before the sun came up. I waited all day for you to come back." Chinedu glanced at the glass door, its sleek handle now a potential gateway to disaster. He had been seconds away from triggering whatever was inside. He pulled out his phone and dialed the police. Within 20 minutes, sirens wailed in the distance. Another 15 minutes later, a bomb disposal unit arrived. They confirmed the worst: a motion-activated explosive had been rigged behind the door's frame, set to detonate the moment it was opened. One touch, and Chinedu Okoye would have been reduced to a tragic news story. Chinedu stood on his manicured lawn, arms folded, his face a mask of disbelief. A child, a homeless girl with nothing but a torn dress and a brave heart, had saved his life. But a question gnawed at him: who wanted him dead? Then it hit him. 8 months ago, his company, Okoye Tech, had acquired land in a low-income area of Lagos for a new data center. The deal displaced hundreds of families. Protests had erupted, petitions had been signed, but Chinedu had dismissed them as noise. He had focused on the billions the project would bring, not the lives it would disrupt. One of those displaced was a woman named Folake Adibeo, a single mother who had lost her small shop and home in the demolition. Folake had come to Chinedu's office, pleading for relocation funds or a chance to rebuild elsewhere. Chinedu had brushed her off, instructing his staff to escort her out. Now, the police confirmed Amanat's story. The two intruders were hired by Folek, one of them an ex-soldier with expertise in explosives. They had intended to send a message to make Chinedu pay for the lives he'd upended, but they hadn't anticipated a little girl hiding near the generator shed, unnoticed by all. As the police secured the area, Aminat sat quietly on the edge of a flower bed, clutching her green scarf, watching the chaos unfold. Chinedu approached her slowly, a heavy guilt settling in his chest. He crouched beside her. "Why did you help me?" Aminat shrugged, her voice barely audible. "You looked kind in the photo." Chinedu frowned. "What photo?" She reached into the pocket of her dress and pulled out a crumpled flyer, damp and faded. It was an advertisement for a tech scholarship program Chinedu had funded 2 years ago. In the image, he was smiling, handing a laptop to a young student. Amanat's small fingers shook as she held it out. "I saw this at the community center where I used to stay," she whispered. The silence that followed was profound. Chinedu stared at the flyer, his throat tightening. He vaguely remembered the scholarship event, a publicity stunt to boost his company's image after a tax scandal. He hadn't followed up on the program since, but Aminat had held onto this flyer, a symbol of hope in her small, uncertain world. Chinedu blinked back tears and stood, calling over one of the officers. "I want this girl taken care of. Food, clothes, a doctor's visit, everything, right now." Aminat looked up, her eyes wide. "You're not angry with me?" "Angry?" Chinedu knelt again, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Aminat, you saved my life." Meanwhile, the police had apprehended Folek Adibeo, who had been caught attempting to leave Lagos by boat. Her accomplice was arrested at a motor park in Ikeja. Chinedu watched as Folek was led past his property in handcuffs, her face etched with despair as she shouted, "You took everything from me. My children are suffering because of you." Their eyes locked, and for the first time, Chinedu didn't see a villain. He saw a desperate mother, broken by the weight of loss. Folek had lost everything while Chinedu was reaping the rewards of his tech empire. But what she didn't know was that Chinedu had lost something too. 4 years ago, his younger sister had died on the streets, a victim of poverty and illness after running away from home. Chinedu had been too busy building his empire to notice her struggles. All his wealth couldn't bring her back. That guilt had haunted him ever since. Perhaps that's why Amanat's cry had struck him so deeply. It was a voice he had failed to hear before. That evening, after the authorities left, Chinedu did something rare. He shed his agbada, sat beside Aminat on the steps of his mansion, and shared a plate of jollof rice with her under the glow of the security lights. Two silent figures sat side by side, the weight of the day settling between them. "What if I hadn't listened?" Chinedu asked softly. Aminat didn't respond immediately. She pulled her knees to her chest. "Sometimes people don't hear until it's too late." The words lingered in the air. Chinedu looked at her, truly seeing the dirt on her cheeks, the scars on her legs, the resilience in her eyes. "Where's your family?" Aminat shrugged. "I don't know. My auntie left me at the center. She said she'd come back, but she didn't. I ran away when they wanted to take me to another place." Chinedu stood up. "Come on. Let's go inside." He smiled. "I have a spare room and plenty of chin-chin to share." Aminat hesitated, then took his hand. It wasn't just a step into the house, it was a bridge between two worlds. Over the next few days, Chinedu ensured Aminat was cared for, giving her a safe place to stay. But more than that, he listened. Aminat shared stories of life on the streets, the friends she'd made, the dangers she'd faced. Chinedu took notes, determined to act. He revived the scholarship program he'd once funded, but this time, he made it personal. He built a new community center in the area his company had displaced, complete with a shelter for children and a training program for displaced families. He named the center after Aminat, honoring the girl who had saved more than just his life. Folake Adebayo received a reduced sentence after it was revealed she had exhausted all legal options before resorting to crime. Chinedu hired a lawyer to help Folake's children, who are in a state-run orphanage, ensuring they receive support and a chance to reunite with their mother one day. But the heart of the story lay between Chinedu and Aminat. 2 weeks later, at a press conference in Lagos, Chinedu stood before a crowd of journalists and made a surprising announcement. "I'd like to introduce you all to my daughter." He placed a hand on Aminat's shoulder. "I didn't adopt her out of pity or obligation. I did it because, for the first time, someone saw me beyond my wealth. And I saw someone who deserved more than the world had given her." Aminat looked up at him, her eyes brimming with tears, still clutching her green scarf. And that mansion, the one where Chinedu nearly lost his life, became the place where he truly began to live, not alone, but with a daughter who had saved him in every way possible. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. Let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.